Okay, folks, welcome back. Now, there's so many options here on the YouTube. I'm like, hey, what are these things on like super chat goal? I'm like, I don't want people giving me money. I'm not interested in that. Just come hang out with me. I don't want to take people's money. I don't contribute to other people's Patreons or anything, so I'm just being consistent. Take Google's money. All those dumbasses that pay to watch their app, that pay to advertise and all that stuff, take all their money. All right. Back we are looking at the Constructicons and the clown cars. All right. So I think what we need to do is we need to be proactive the way we work on stuff and what we're going to work on next so that when we're ready to move, we're able to move, meaning we're not waiting on something that's drying. And that just has to do with washes. Now, all this stuff should already have washes on it. These pretty much are ready to weather now and then do the pin stuff on it, right? Really make them come to life. The clown cars, on the other hand, the interior, for instance, of this particular vehicle, interesting that it has this blue spot there. We'll have to take care of that. This is ready to epoxy and paint on the inside. Okay, and this is, well, we can prime this. We can't necessarily paint it because we've got the grill and stuff to do on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually not going to, I'll end up spreading myself too thin. Let's finish these guys that we did first, the construction vehicles. Okay, the bulldozer it's a monster truck that identifies as a bulldozer, and then the ambulance that identifies as a grader. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint anything black that needs to be black, even with the overspray. So we're going to come in and we're going to paint the treads here. We're going to make sure the treads are covered, make sure the wheels are covered, the barrel, the machine guns. We'll do that. We don't need to use primer for that. We can just use good old black paint. And I really want to use the folk art ones. I really like the folk art paint. The folky paint. All right, let's get that going. And hopefully, before I stop, we can have both of these guys done. Not that we're in a hurry, but, it'd be nice. Start looking at names for them. I'm close to them. Now, the whole point is to make everything exciting. Like, oh, man, that's some yellow machine. That ain't very exciting. Well, if you don't make it. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what brushes we want to use. This would probably be all right. And we're going to need a little bit of water. Here. Sure we want to use this one? Might need to use this one as well. All right. So on this particular vehicle, the very first thing we need to do is we're going to do the tires. So that overspray. I don't paint tires like some dark gray because by the time we're done weathering it, we do quite a bit of weathering. And if you start with dark gray instead of black, by the time you're done, you're going to end up with a really light gray color that almost looks like the wheels on a girl's bike. You ever had a kid when they had a little sister, and the little sister decided to have some BMX looking bike, but it had the white tires on it? I don't know how they get rubber white like that, but they do. Albino rubber. Looks weird. Okay, that side's done. Move over here. All right, now this long ass machine gun, it really can be whatever weapon you want it to be. The important thing is it behaves like a heavy machine gun. If it behaves like a heavy machine gun, it really doesn't matter. Is this a hobby? I hope so. Too bad it's not a way to make a living. Good afternoon, man. It's my therapy. It's building these things for a game called Gaslands, which is a tabletop game, and you play with Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars. And let's see if I can get this over here. These are the ones that I've gotten completed. I got 58 of them completed. All up here. And they're basically playing pieces. So, although there's quite a few adults, I'm surprised. I've only been doing this stuff for like a few months. I'm really surprised that how many adults there are shopping for Hot Wheels. And I hate to think that most of them are scalpers. I don't think you could make any freaking money doing that, but it's fun, it's cheap, especially if you're like, man, this Warhammer stuff's expensive. Warhammer is the only hobby that's like that. Most of them are, priced okay. These are really cheap. You don't need to use more than like two of them per player. It's damn near cheap. It's really, really cheap. All right, so we're gonna make the stack. I'm gonna leave the stack yellow. This blade on the front. We're going to put 10 bits on it like that. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to paint this one black. The more I think about it, the less making plastic models makes sense to me. And I'm not saying that sense to me from the standpoint of me making them. Like, unless I'm going to use them for like a playing piece in a game, I don't want to make something that just I make it there and it just sits somewhere. I want at least the opportunity of being able to use it in a game. Okay, that we're going to keep that to that color. All right. We're going to make that all 10 bits and metallic and rusty and all that kind of shit on there. Dirty and so forth. Okay. And let's do the equivalent thing on this end. That helps keep the whole thing from being just one big yellow smear. You have something to look at, something for your eye to go, what the hell is that? All right. Same thing, tracks. Even though these tracks are going to be severely rusted, I like starting as a black base. Everything starts from there. And a little bit down in here. Just like if we were building a 1/72 scale tank. It's kind of the same thing we do. Obviously, it's not going to stay black, but that's what we want to start as the base color. Okay? That side's good. Flip over here. And I specifically want to leave this yellow. The back of this is just completely solid. I know it's unrealistic. That's just part of the casting. I'm going to come around the edge a little bit, like we pretend that that is the track that you see. All right, we'll do the same thing on this side now. I'm glad I airbrushed the yellow. Looks like it ends up being just fine. Was a lot quicker. And same thing back here. See, I just cut this with water so you just get better flow. So your brush doesn't stick on stuff. And same thing, a little bit down here, a little bit down here, a little bit there. Okay, that's done. The stack, we're going to leave it the natural color. Obviously, the top of it is going to be smoky. Might even have some smokiness across this wing. Why does this grater have a wing on it? This is a fantasy world of things that don't make any sense. There's actually a couple of headlamps here. And here. I'm gonna paint this too. So it'll be the same. This will get the same treatment that the grater gets. And I think this guy's done with all the black bits. We're going to come back and do the ladder. I want the ladder in black just so it stands out. but we'll need to use a smaller brush than this. All right. So we'll be back in a jiffy on that thing. All right, this guy right here, the bulldozer. Now, this one has a lot of spots on there, if you guys remember, that had chips on them. And I suspect when I'm done with this, it won't even draw attention to where they are. Because I got this thing used. I got this, it's actually given to me. Somebody bought it like a, oh, interesting. There's no track on the bottom. It's all a facade. Bought it at a Goodwill store, which I forgot to tell him the other day when he said, I said, I went to a Goodwill store for the first time in my life the other day. And I'm never going to go to one again because it was freaking depressing. There wasn't anything there. I don't like going to stores that aren't well stocked. Well, it's a Goodwill store. What'd you expect? I don't know. Everybody says that they find really good things at Goodwill. I get depressed when I see a store with like a bunch of empty shelves. I like seeing things well stocked. Like if you got empty shelves, then you need to like condense it so it doesn't look so like you're going out of business. Okay, this is the machine gun for it. Obviously, it's going to get some gunmetal accents and things like that. Flip all the way here. That in the parking at it was like I had to park way far away. The parking spots were way too tight. I don't want to go in there, go to the Goodwill store, and what'd you end up getting? A dinged up car door. Well, I didn't ask for that. I see so many people that just don't care about where they park their vehicles. Man, vehicles are expensive. Park it where it's difficult for somebody to, just be careless and bang into your vehicle. I'll walk extra steps. I don't care. I can't be the only one. Okay, this has a different type of stack. Okay, this stack is, I don't know that I'm going to paint it black and then make it silver, but we're going to do something. I'm going to do something with it. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's it for this thing. The spots that we definitely need to do black, at least with this brush. So we're going to go ahead and rinse this thing out. Let's see, we got anybody on here? Anybody with nothing better to do on a Sunday afternoon? Hey, it's relaxing. Nah, we need to go smaller than that. Oh, this is a real thin one. Okay, so we're going to come over here. Get this paint flowing how we want it to. And we're going to put this, and we're going to paint this ladder metal. Even though on this vehicle probably would be yellow. Reason I'm doing that is so we can see this a couple feet away. And the handles on it too. And the rungs too. The rungs, sorry. Okay, I'm going to go around the corner. Now, I've been very available the last week. That's probably going to change next week because not only are the girls are back, which wouldn't change anything, but I got other people. I got in-laws and such coming over, so. I'm going to have a host of people coming by that aren't working, and I still have to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. Do the same thing on this side. That are some pretty good looking cars right there. Well, you can't see them really on the video. I would agree with you, except that it's really hard for me to show you how good they look up close in the video. It's hard for me to show you guys what I'm seeing. But yeah, I'm pretty particular about how I want things to look, and I've been impressing myself. So, as long as you keep this guy happy, like the guy that's painting it, we'll keep producing more things. If I start getting discouraged, that's when things go sideways, Yeah, they are looking sick, brother. Did you make them all? Well, I'm modifying them. I found out real quick that it saves me a hell of a lot of time just weathering and painting the details that the original Hot Wheels, I'll just say Hot Wheels, and it could be Matchbox as well, didn't put on there. I like to enhance them and weather them, and then put guns on them and stuff like that. But stripping the whole thing, it's just it's going to be yellow. Just use the yellow ones. Well, what I say is as expensive as real cars are now, the only ones I can afford are these now. It's cars ever since that word that I don't like to mention, that 5-letter word that starts with a C. Everything, the price on everything just skyrocketed. So yeah, I'm actually surprised how many adults there are, in the Hot Wheels aisle. You know, I don't know if they're scalping or whatever. If you want to collect things, you know, I'm able to paint, so there's no reason for me just to get stuck with them the way that they come. You know what? I can do better than that. Okay, is there anything on here that you want to put metal? Now, the engine on these Caterpillars are generally they're baked on with this paint. Now, they're going to be dirty as shit in there. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think we need to do anything there. There's a cylinder here. This cylinder is covered, but this cylinder is open. So that cylinder is going to end up being metallic. And the same thing on this side. And this ended up being just an unloved toy. Well, somebody gave it to me. But we're not going to really see this shine until we weather it. And then after we weather it, we start adding the drippings. And that's when things really start coming about. And that's what we're going to do next. All right, so let's get the triad. We're going to use Vallejo Chocolate Brown. We're going to use Vallejo US Field Drab and Vallejo Iraqi Sand. Can you show that yellow car beside the red one? Oh, I haven't done anything to this yet. This is it's just a funny car. It's a clown funny car. I haven't done anything to it. Now, what I will do is stuff like, speaking of yellow cars, I better stand up. If this falls down, I will not have a good day. I don't know why this likes to seal so well. It doesn't need to be airtight. We just need to get the dust from coming in here. I'll take something that's already pre-painted, like this thing. This Nova is one of my favorite ones. See if I can get the light. The light is just at odds with you guys seeing things many times. You know, and the whole thing is the interior of this was chrome. The front was completely ridiculous chrome color. Like, that's just not going to work. You know, you got to make it look, realistic. Add the drippings there, meaning rust and stuff like that. And when I started picking up stuff in the store that looked like this, that already looked great right out of the box, I didn't want to repaint this striping. The striping's beautiful. Something out of a zombie movie, exactly. This thing's beautiful. The paint job on it, like, why would I ruin that? We're going to enhance it. One of my favorite ones is this green guy, this Barracuda. The stripes on here are beautiful. Yeah, I could paint these stripes, but they're already on there. That just saved me, tens of hours of work. Didn't have the headlights painted on them. And something like this Ford Focus, the entire back of this was green. There was none of that was painted on there. I mean, it had the RS graphics, it had the Ford logo, it had these sponsors on here, but the front had nothing on it as well. I'm like, well, all the details were there, just a matter of just painting them. Well, it's Car Wars. They're not exactly for zombies. However, the butcher definitely has blood on it. And the body of this truck was out of a scrap bin in a secondhand store. Like, somebody didn't want this. I'm like, oh, we're going to make something fabulous out of this. It already came in white, So what are these for? Well, this is for a game called Gaslands. And it's made by Osprey, or it's published by Osprey. Gaslands happens to be Gaslands Refueled, which is the second version of it. It's available on Amazon. And yeah, it's a fun little game. It allows you to have your creations come to life. And then other people 3D print stuff. They make like, hey, maybe this guy's going to drop a smoke. So you put a smoke on there and you move them around in templates like X-Wing. I've heard it plays like X-Wing. I've never played X-Wing before. And then, some of them just have, are just like, this has all these graphics on there. This is like a lucha libre guy, a Mexican wrestler. So, we just weathered it. That's how we're going to weather it. This is the kind of weathering that we're going to do on these construction vehicles. All right. That's these same colors here that I just pulled out. And we'll put drippings on them. Woo, this thing's sharp. It's just 3D printed, but it's very sharp. It's some beautiful graphics that are already done. So yes, I made all of these, but remember, the actual vehicle, you can look it up, and it won't have this extra matte here. It won't have the extra stuff on here. It just looks like an Impala with these graphics. So I'm a little hesitant to say that I made them all because I'm enhancing them. Like for instance, this garbage truck. This looks totally different. Go look up this vehicle on eBay. You can see it. It's got orange and all kinds of shit on there. Like this top section is orange. It's quite an orange, and I think this part down here is in blue. So, we have to change the color on it, put a ram, put some armor on here, make it look like it's been doing the rounds. So yes, I enhanced them all. But a lot of this stuff is like you look at it and like, all right, well, what can I do with what's there? This thing. This is a standard ambulance. If you've had any Matchbox cars, okay, everybody had this ambulance growing up. Everybody had it. Okay, it's from like 1977. It's a Matchbox, metal bottom, metal top, standard ambulance. We added a ram to the front. We added armor here. We added a harpoon. We added claymores here. We added explosive things. So this thing is an insanity on the road. And there's rules for all of these things that it has on there. I'm just not putting shit on it, and it's like, well, I hope this will work in the game. Like we literally designed this stuff before I start adding a bunch of shit on there. So some people don't do that. It just makes sense to me. There's no point in, hey, that looks like it's got a machine gun on it. Yeah, well, it doesn't really. It's just not in the game. Food truck. Rasta food truck. The Rasta Blasta. So I like designing them. I like painting them. I like coming up with the double entendre names. I'd like to think that they all have double entendre. They don't have to be, for mature audiences, but, Now this vehicle was originally red. So I stripped this up. It's a make-believe Japanese rice burner type of car. It looks like a cross between maybe an RX-7 and an MR2, something like that. And I didn't want it red. I wanted to be a call out to Japanese aircraft of the Second World War. So we stripped it. We left it in the natural metal finish, polished it, gave it some green banding like an aircraft, and its name is Hayabusa, which is the same name that a Ki-43 Oscar is. And just like an Oscar that has two different machine guns of two different sizes, this has a heavy and a regular machine gun. So it's inspired by that. But it takes a long time to take the paint off. It doesn't take that long. It's just extra steps. But, it's a cool looking vehicle. Of course, none of the lights are on there. Every guy likes car. Yeah, the wife really likes these too because she can relate to them. This vehicle was really dull. It's just a Jaguar, right? But I wanted to be, for my Cruel Britannia British team. So I went ahead and it had some sponsor names I didn't like here. I'm like, well, that'd be a perfect place to paint a little Union Jack. So that's hand painted. Easy peasy. Well, we've been at this a while. I've only been doing these for 3 months, but we've been doing this kind of stuff for decades. Honestly, this stuff is more fun than anything else I've done. And sometimes they have crazy ass graphics, and we just roll with them. Like this one's called the Bully Goat. You look at the bottom of this, it says Bully Goat on it. Here it is. Bully Goat. And there's these huge graphics that say Bully Goat. All right, so we made it the Bully Goat. And, it likes to butt people, and we put this ram on the front over here, center-mounted machine gun, big-ass tires. Which is your favorite? Probably the green one. Only because I was so surprised how happy I was with it. But there's crazy stuff on here, I saw this, I'm like, I gotta get this. This is for my my urban team, right? And on the side of it, it came like this. It says Ain't Fair. So it's a bus called Ain't Fair. If you look at the bottom of it, it literally says Ain't Fair. And I'm like, well, this has to have some boom boxes in the top. So we put some boom boxes in there. Took it from another vehicle that had it on. It was like basically like a pickup truck that had the boom box on the back. Made the big boom box on the top. Color matched it ish. Okay. Got to see where it's going. It's going to the bail bonds, right? Same thing. That's it. Done. Pretty simple. Looks pretty unique. Not available in stores. Well, they're kind of available in stores. Now, the first ones I did took forever to do, okay? Because I was like repainting them. For instance, I don't remember what color this guy was originally, but this is Hippie-ki-yay. Now, Hippie-ki-yay is completely repainted, okay? Now, it looks great, but it took probably 30 hours to paint this thing. So we added some extra armor in here. It's tuned out. It's condensed. Man, the lighting is... Let's see if I can kill this and it's better. There you go. It's like it's fighting too many lights at the same time. Let's see. All this is hand painted. And it's shaded. So this blue, for instance, has, I don't know, 5 or 6 different layers. I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do that because I'm never going to get anything done. So, and inside, I did something I've never done before. I actually painted it tie-dye. This guy actually has a tie-dye bandana. Man, the lighting is just, you guys are getting a lot of kickback. Like it's getting all washed out. Yeah, it looks a lot better for me than it does for you guys. Let's see if I can. That's a little bit less washed out. There we go. Yeah, I'd put drivers in all my stuff, but there's just a limited availability on drivers. This is actually made by a guy who passed away. These drivers. You can see the interior of it was red. Like, that ain't gonna work. So, cute little thing. Got to put rockets on there. But you see something that looks like this. Why would I repaint this? It's beautiful. Now, this is for my Mexican lowriders. Everything is stock. It comes on here, except I closed up the back. What did I use to close it up? This. Little pieces of plastic, super glued on. Made it like it has a hatch. Made a hatch up here for the top, also made out of the same materials. The front plates also made out of the same materials. Damn focus. There we go. But it almost reminds me of like tortilla chips, this pattern. I love it. Color matched it with metallic. I love these Impalas. I wouldn't drive something like this personally, but in a game, absolutely. It's badass. This police car, I got it all beat up. We touched up the paint where it was chipped up, and I wanted it to have a ram on it, so I made this ram out of a paperclip. Man, this autofocus is driving me crazy. But I literally got this free. It's a great hobby, man. It's a great hobby. It's cheap as hell, for starters. And, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So, Well, I've been doing this for a while. I mean, we're about to do some weathering, and we got a lot of practice weathering. You know, we've got 200 head of tanks over here that are all weathered. So, you know, we got stuff that looks pretty spectacular. And it looks better in person. Because right now, you guys, you're fighting all the damn eyes and stuff. But the problem is that, you know, this shit. I had this like 15 years. I finally got around to painting it a couple months ago. It's a little Italian house. I painted this with craft paint. You know, it actually didn't take that long to do. But not my first rodeo. So thanks for stopping by. Grab a seat. You know, even old figures. If you had any of those old MPC Airfix figures, they paint up really well. So, anyhow, back to the Gaslands. And, you know, the intent is to film some of these games on this channel. Oh, you want to see something impressive? All right. This has allowed me, doing this stuff has allowed me to do a lot more creative things than I've been able to in the past. So I wanted a building for this Gaslands thing, right? So I went to go buy a razor. And the razor came in this container. You can tell where the razor is on there, right? And the extra ones are here. And I start looking at this, I'm like, you know, this would make a damn good building. It's a crash and burn cantina. This is all made out of cardboard. This is the original cardboard. Put pegs through here, make it look all Southwest. This is just corrugated piece. Extra tires, little box. This is actually designed in ChatGPT and printed out. It's made out of fucking trash. And it looks amazing. You know? And there's 2 cars that are crashed on the top. Let's see. Let's kill this. Let's kill all the lights. It's going to get a little dark in here. We have a little light in here that flickers. So when we put that on here, you know, it's like it's a restaurant. So no, I don't want smoke coming out of it. You don't want to light the freaking restaurant on fire. But it's made out of fucking trash. You know? So it's a great hobby because it forces you to look at things and go, man, I could make this out of that. I could make this out of that. And if you find something to make it out of it, guess what? It didn't cost you anything. You know? Here's the sign for it. I need to glue this in. It's not glued in properly. But it's made out of toothpicks. Yeah, I just have it wedged in here for now. You know, and it has nothing to do with the game. It's just on the sidelines, right? Like you race around it and shit like that. And I just plopped this in here like this. And there's a sign. I look at this, every time I look at it, I'm like, fuck, that looks great. I mean, it's trash. It's trash. Now, you know, you got to be careful with it, you know, because it's not very durable, you know, but you too can do this. I even did it on this channel live. Okay? It's a great hobby, man. Like I said, it keeps me from being an alcoholic. I got a really stressful job, and I do this for therapy. So, because you know what? Everything here always turns out fine. It's always a win. It might take a while. You know, we're not necessarily going to be done in a moment. And if something doesn't turn out how I like it, okay, so fix it. Thanks for stopping by, man. Subscribe. You know, it doesn't cost anything. I don't have a Patreon. I'm not going to have a Patreon. I don't want your money. Take Google's money. We all have limited money. In the last 5 years, we have like 25% less money, or maybe 33% less money with how everything got expensive. All right, so we're going to use a brush that we're not going to baby. We're not going to baby this brush. This will probably work. We don't want to use one that we think a whole lot of. Which is my most time-consuming model? Honestly, none of these cars have taken that long. It's the ancients and stuff that I used to do. They take forever. They take forever to do. But it's also, 4 times 12. It could be like 60 figures for an army. But I like getting things that are like damn near free. Like these. I picked these up. These were $1 a piece. Somebody didn't want them. The Soviet early war heavy tank. We weathered them. We added a wash to them. Dry brushed them. Done in fucking no time. It's magnetized. So if I have to bring them somewhere, you just put them on a cookie sheet and it'll slide all over the place. Okay, chocolate brown. The only thing I don't like about this hobby is it's hard for you guys to see how detailed some of this stuff is because of the lighting. Because for it to have enough brightness, it kicks. I call it kickback. Like if the brightness comes in your face. Like when I take pictures of stuff, I have to dial the brightness back. It's just too bright. It's showing you a brightness that doesn't really exist there. Because the human eye really is an amazing thing. And we just take it for granted. All right, chocolate brown. So we're going to start off with this bulldozer first. And we're just going to rub this on the bottom. We're going to start at the bottom first. So this ain't no Warhammer that costs hundreds of dollars for stuff. This shit's damn near free. And I've never considered selling my stuff. I'd probably sell these if somebody wanted them. They ain't gonna be cheap, but I'm just saying that my other stuff I wouldn't consider selling them. They take too long I need them for a game. They take way too long to do them. But this thing costs $1. Okay, that's and the weapons. The cheapest thing is actually the vehicle itself, because the weapons cost more. Obviously, the time that I spend on it costs the most. I did take pictures of these before, so. Construction vehicles are extra dirty. Yeah, well, I have a daughter and she doesn't play. She's scared of gamers. I don't blame her. Gamers are weird. A lot of weird people out there. I'm old enough that if you did weird shit, your what do you call them? Your peers would straighten your ass out. Now your peers encourage you to be weird. You know what I'm talking about? get all this in here so we got that covered. I grew up when I was in school, man. You couldn't go around wearing two socks or two different kinds. Well, I wouldn't be able to do that anyways. I'd be like, I'm too. What's the word for it? Anal retentive, whatever. Not ADD. I'm not ADD or ADHD. I'm none of those things. I forget what the terminology is. OCD. OCD. Yeah, I have some OCD in me about my shit. All right, so and just wait till we do the drippings. The drippings, that's the magic. That's the magic, and it makes it look real. These things are going to look fucking awesome. If I was doing this a couple of years ago and I was at this stage, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be happy with how this turns out. Like, we've done this enough times. And this is for a team that for the time being, I'm going to call them the Hard Hat Hooligans. Now, this is a Car Wars type of Mad Max type environment. Everybody here's a fucking criminal. Everybody. There are no good guys. They're all bad. They're all bad folks that, if you see them do a race to the death, the only good result is everybody dies, right? It actually happened in one of our battles, like everybody died. What time is it in? As a girl, I understand her. You're a girl? Okay, cool. Yeah, welcome. No problem with girl gamers. Actually, I've rarely played. I play war games, so it's rare that I encounter a lady gamer. But I did the last time I did. We had a blast. We had a real blast. I mean, she was probably 6 or 7 years older than I was. We had a good time. Okay, while this dries, don't have to wait for it to dry much. We'll do the same treatment to this one. All right, so we're going to go over the tracks. Over this part here. This is what you would call, say, the wet mud. Yeah, if I got to go somewhere and get paints, my daughter stays, and she's with me. She stays in the car. She doesn't want to go into the. I said, man, those people are harmless. They've never even kissed a girl before. I was like, Dad, they're weird. I said, I know. And she goes to school with a lot of them. Says, well, the boys are weird. What time is it there right now? 2:40. I'm sorry, 2:20 in the afternoon. East Coast of America. Florida, to be specific. The Sunshine State, and it is sunny today. It's a beautiful day. That's why I'm inside. It's freezing in this house. I haven't run the air, or the heat, or anything, and it's just like, it's penetrating. It's not a complaint, It's just saying that I also wear a minimum of clothes, Yes, I'm wearing all the clothing, but I'm just saying, I don't have long pants on or anything like that. But my feet are freezing right now. That's a good thing. I don't like them when they're hot. All right. So we're not going to go batshit crazy because we're going to need. You got two other colors to put on here, so you don't want to use up covering everything in this and not leave yourself enough room for the other one. All right. None of this chocolate brown is going to be all up and over the top of this vehicle. Okay. You want to keep it to the lower sections. Okay, that's probably enough. All right, now we're going to switch. I'm not even going to rinse this thing out. U.S. Field Drab. What's my daughter's favorite? I don't know. Oh, she probably likes this the best. This is a kid's toy that I repainted. The Stegosaurus. So I got one of these. I got several of them. I'd like to do a game that has dinosaurs battling it out. So you have different missions. Like you got the Stegosaurus mama and the baby have to get across the board and, stuff like excuse to paint freaking dinosaurs. This is basically a Walmart kids toy, and they have great detail. Obviously you have to, prime it and everything, but they have great detail. There's all kinds of stuff when you start looking at it is really well made. You don't have to buy a gamey thing, So we got the eye painted and everything on it. So actually, when I painted this, I was listening to Jurassic Park on Audible. It's the only movie that I've watched that I've read the book. Well, it's been read to me. I don't have time to sit down and read a book. But it's food for thought there. All right. The middle tone. U.S. Field Drab. This keeps me busy. The only thing I don't like about this hobby is time really flies by. I'll be like, all right, I'll do this for a couple hours. The next thing, I've done this for over 10 hours before. I've been live for over 10 hours. Yeah, it keeps me from eating the house. That's helpful. And this is the yellow color it came in. The only thing I've done is I added a clear coat to it in flat so that it gives it a rough finish so that it allows a brown wash to adhere to it because it has a brown wash over it just to kind of, make it not look pristine. And the trick with this is just experience. Like, know when to say when. Like, not adding more up here. Adding more isn't going to make it better. Like, you need to leave some stuff in yellow. Okay? Like, that's looking enough. Okay? We go over to this one. Doesn't look like much right now. It's the dripping phase and the black lining phase. I like to do those last. I don't want to be like, I like the drippings how it is, and then you dry brush over them, and then you cover over them, and all your handiwork is wasted. But I started doing this channel because I had a friend of mine who used to come over on Wednesdays and we'd paint together. They were a fellow war gamer, and then he moved, and I got used to this being a social thing. Because honestly, the only thing I don't like about this is it's kind of boring. Like, if there's nobody to talk about this, if there's nobody to share this experience with, I'll start thinking about something different while I'm doing it and go squirrel and start looking that up on the internet, and my painting project doesn't get finished because I distracted myself. So doing this live kind of helps me not do that. Any of you guys scared of clowns? They're coming up soon, so keep your pants on. I don't understand the being scared of clowns. I've never seen any scary. I don't watch scary movies. So I didn't like clowns as a kid. So I didn't want their makeup on me, Actually, the scariest thing about clowns is those big fucking shoes. Like, man, they could be 4 feet away from you and still step on you. It's like that's like a freaking hazard. Okay, I think this is enough on that. I think that's enough. Now we're going to go to the final one, which is Iraqi sand. Why did I pick these 3 colors? Well, they were the 3 colors that were suggested in Flames of War in their paint section for for the ground colors. These successive triad of colors, and I saw what they looked like, and that's what I use for most of my basing, and it looks great, you know. Now, the game actually has its own lore with teams and stuff like that. I just don't like the lore of the game. I prefer my own. I mean, it's like you're taking all the fun away if I'm doing something else, you know. So, you know, I've got the construction crew. We're going to have crazy clowns. We got the Urban Brotherhood guys. We got in between. I got a British team that's called Cruel Britannia. I got Germans, Italians. I'm going to have a French team. You know, the Mexican lowriders, cops, which aren't really cops. Everybody thinks they're cops, except they're criminals too. You know, don't want to do any, like the game has like undead stuff in it. I don't want to do undead shit. I don't want to do, you know, demonic or hell or any of that kind of stuff, you know. All right, I think now this color is the one I do put up on the edges up top. So up at the edges up top, I do these edges, and that's what I'm saying is if I end up like touching up these pieces and the touch up color isn't exactly the same, by the time I do this, you can't tell the fucking difference. Now, it looks pretty rough, okay? But just wait till we do the other parts. It's going to be... You got to make these details pop. Right now, it's just kind of all like blah together, right? That's just the nature of the dry brush. Now, I usually do the black pin washing first, then I dry brush. This time we decided to do the dry brush first. Why? I don't know. I don't. I just decided to do it differently. Okay. That's enough of that. Now, we'll start off with the black lining first. Black lining we're going to pick up, it's called Dark Tone by War Paints, and it is basically a watered down black. Hello, Tony. John Bishop. Just wanted to thank you. Found your videos from a year ago. You reviewed some of my models. Arverne. Oh, your stuff is great, man. You brought from Iron Horse Collectible. Yeah, I'm just not doing World War II stuff right now. Your models are great. See, you're the talented one. I just have to do paint by numbers on the stuff you design. I have a CAD background many years ago. I just don't use it. So I could see doing that stuff, but you know, I mean, you guys have that. You guys have that stuff down. Between you and Mr. Kulan, the Kulan miniatures guys, you got that stuff knocked down. Which ones are yours? Auvergne. Which ones are the ones that are you the one that made all the A13s? Are you the one that made all the A13s that got whatchamacallit? I was the one that suggested the A13s to make them. That Mark IV. And I bought 6 of them and I haven't painted them. I haven't finished them. It's always very heartwarming, you know. The T60. Oh, yeah, the T60's finished. Yeah, I was the one that suggested to iron. So thank you for making it. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. I just haven't gotten around to doing them. T60. I bet you made the BT7 also. Oh, no, the BT7 is... the other people. The T60 is gorgeous. Let's see if we can pull out Mr. T60. I got to be careful because I got No, I only have one of her. I love the Soviet vehicle. Oh, this thing's beautiful. Ah, the lighting sucks. I hate that. I can't show you. I can't show you. I can't show you what I see. There we go. Let's not have it fall in a pool of this. Yeah, beautiful model. No, you 3D printer people are great. And Iron Horse does spectacular. His material is incredible. This is all weathered with the same way. You know, we did black lining on it. Actually, this doesn't have drippings. This was before I started doing drippings. That's the last thing I've added on. These things look better than plastic models. You know? Yeah. I like doing the World War II stuff. And that's what I'm talking about. Experience really comes through. Okay, I'll give you an example. I have never painted a snow vehicle ever. And then I decided to do a snow vehicle. Sorry, I got my head in my case here. And this is what we're talking about. We have a few vehicles. This is about a year's worth of work, so I've been cranking them out. The first snow vehicle I ever did actually may not be here. It's an SU-85. I ran out of space. It's an SU-85 that is a model by S Model. And this is the first time I ever did a snow camouflage. Look how happy I am with how it turned out. Because I did not want it to be doing white. I wanted it to be, you know, it had an overspray and, you know, it's green on the bottom. And the drippings on this, let me put my other readers on so I can actually see what I'm showing you. This musical chairs with the glasses is a whole lot of fun here. Nah, it's still too bright. You know, that's better. Yeah, the only problem with World War II stuff is I'm a bit of a World War II religious zealot. And what I mean by that is I don't want to play something that's very generic. I'm very picky. So it makes it really difficult to get a game in. Whereas I'm actually fine playing some generic game that uses that uses the Hot Wheels cars, you know. So, but yeah, this is what we're working on now. We're only working on this for a couple of months. We'll go back to World War II, you know. But the winter camo convincing I tried to do something similar on my T-34s and went very heavy on the white. So the problem with snow camouflage is if you look at pictures of what they really did, it looks terrible. It doesn't look realistic. Like even the real things don't look right. So you just have to find out what works for you. They have a lot of you know, here's some, these are, what are these? These are Eschi. These are Eschi T-34s. Yeah, but this is what the pin washing will do. And I'm not using expensive products, you know. Hey, see what I mean about like here, see how the colors look, and then if I bring it closer, you're getting a lot of kickback. Like it's almost like you're getting shine from the how bright the lights are. So like here's what you get a better view of what it actually looks like. So yeah, I love hand painting the stuff on there. Like even if I don't even know what the hell it says. Like for instance, this one, these are white metal. They weigh a metric ton. So this is all hand painted on there. I wanted, if you guys have ever played Call of Duty World War II, one of the missions are you're a T-34 commander and your tank is called Tiger Tamer. So I wanted Tiger Tamer written on the side of it. So I went online found out how to write Tiger Tamer, put it on there, hand painted it, one letter by letter, and then had somebody over here that understood Cyrillic. And like, why is Tiger Tamer written on the side of your tank? I said, oh, I knew I did it right. So anyhow, this is a great hobby. It's a great hobby. Are the Matildas yours? Is the Matildas yours? Who else? What did you? The Matildas. I don't remember the Matildas or Auvergne. You guys make the A9? See, I get them all mixed up. Here's a 3D print. Is this an A9 or is it an A10? It's an A10. This is a 3D printed one. All hand painted markings. That's the easy part. You just take it one stroke at a time. I don't know if this one's yours. It's great until I realized, oh, it's got the wrong turret on it. Or that I replaced the turret on this one. Or is this the 76? I didn't realize it was a 76, but man, it's fucking beautiful. And again, you can't see how subtle the fade on the turret is. God, this is beautiful. But it just took forever putting a little black around, around each one of them. Little flag. Yeah, I got another turret, so I got to replace the turret on it. I didn't realize that was the case. But even old stuff that you're probably familiar with. Look at these Airfix figures. This is the Airfix figures that we've all had. They paint up great. The one true scales, I say. Oh man, I got a destroyed Humber car from who makes this? Hasegawa? I don't know if this is the Hasegawa or the other one, but the turret wouldn't move or anything, so I decided to make it into a wreck. So it's an objective. Never made one of these before. Got the markings for the 11th Hussars on there. Yeah, I love the desert shit. Love it. I like it because both sides are equally interesting. What's this? Since we're showing off, I got to be careful I don't show a crooked spider on here. We don't want to get into trouble. Is the yeah, I'll cover over the crooked spider. Even nicknames on these vehicles. And sometimes you could see the 3D printing lines. Whatever. This is actually one of them that was given to me by a friend in Spain. He's like, hey, I got a lot of stuff for you to bring back. I'm like, all right, we'll paint it up. We'll paint it up. No worries. This thing took a while to do. This is a Marmon Harrington 2. This might be one of yours. This took forever to line up all the lines and stuff. It just took forever. It's just a lot of back and forth. Cool vehicle. Look at the headlamps. You want to know how to do headlamps? I saw somebody do them like this. I love how those headlamps turn out. Dark gray, do a semicircle at the bottom of like lightening up the gray in a couple different steps, and then a little ding dot at the top of white. See, it got all out of autofocus. There we go. I've been really stop autofocusing, damn it. I've been really happy with the way that turns out. Easy to do, easy to replicate. Yeah, this one took forever to do because there's a bunch of little like spots and stuff. Yeah, your A13s, I don't have a single one of them done. I started working on them and then, oh shiny. Yeah, I got 6 of them. Here's one of them. God, they're beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful model. I know I'll do them justice. This is the pre-shade on it. Yeah, so yes, you do them. Thanks for doing them. Hopefully you've gotten lots of sales. Yeah, here's the other Matilda turret with a 2-pounder. I ordered one more and then I got a replacement turret for it. So yeah. This might be your Panzer IV. Oh, here's one that's further along. Here's an A13 that's further along. Whew. Yes, it's taken forever to do the. Yeah, we still got a little ways to go, but you can see where the things line up, and I got the painting guide by. Oh no! What the hell happened? Oh. Went the little turret on the front. Well, that shouldn't be on. That's for the Crusader. It was hitching a ride. The painting guide by I don't remember what his name is, but he makes those painting guides on there. So it takes a long time to, but I don't airbrush that. I hand paint that. I'm a lot better hand painter than I am an airbrusher. I think the Panzer IV is yours. The 4E. I'll bring it up here. It's taken some damage, unfortunately. I believe this is your model. I lost like one of the little hatches on the top and something else happened to it. So I might end up having to make this one a wreck. But I'm doing the 15th Panzer Division for North Africa, so I believe this is your model. Nice looking model. Yeah, I paint them Panzer Gray, and then I dry brush them up. And then, is it a Panzer Gray vehicle that got all dusty, or one that was painted tan and then ended up wearing out? I don't know which way you want it. I like to cover both bases. I like how they look like that. Yeah. I'm surprised I don't have this one out. This is the old Hasegawa Tiger 1. Yep, I still love World War II stuff. Just gotta have a lot of stuff to do. Never a dull moment. And even the 3D printed stuff is really cheap. I mean, it's not like none of this is like Warhammer stuff where it's like, okay, each tank costs $20. Yeah, this is Dundee, hand painted Dundee, and of course, going back and finding out which vehicle is supposed to be in which area and what squadron and what kind of names they would have. All that kind of stuff's fun. I do have a couple A13s painted. They're just other manufacturers. This was the one you made is the one I really, really wanted. I have this guy, and I have This one. Here's one that's finished. It just ends up having the Vickers instead of the Beza or the Bisa. I think that's what you guys. I think that's what British people call them, the Bisa. This one's snapped though. Yeah, so it's a good looking tank. It's an attractive tank. So I've got these two plus another four of the new model. So there's a scenario in one of the books that has 6 of them, and I specifically wanted them for that. And I got them and haven't finished them. So hopefully we'll do them justice. Okay, back to apocalyptic. What game do I play for World War II? For World War II, I play a game called The Face of Battle. And it's real crunchy. It's real crunchy. So unless you're, a religious zealot about the Second World War like I am, you're probably going to it moves too slow. But that's why this is a lot easier to deal with. Now, you can't play the other game and not have a place set up and to leave it. All right, so we're going to do black washing first. We're going to add a little bit of water here. This is just the dark tone from War Paints. You can make your own, I guess, but look, I got to, like they tell me at work, man, you got to delegate some stuff. Now, I can already tell you, this is going to take a long time to do because of all the nooks and crannies we have. So let's do the easy one first. All right, we're going to come in here. And we're going to force these shadows in places we want the shadows to be. Because the whole purpose is we want to be able to see this from 2 and 3 feet away. We want to see all the details that this model has, and has a lot of them. But you need to convince your eye to look at it. It's almost like you got to give your eye an appetizer. Now, it is kind of thin. A lot of people use this Tamiya panel line color. I couldn't get on with it. It's enamel. It doesn't go on anymore. It's difficult to clean your brushes with. I'm not a fan. And I like Tamiya models. I just don't like that. So we'll drop this line here. Looks like there's another little crevice there. It's corrosion, it's filth. I almost said it in Spanish. Suciedad. Filth. Call it whatever you want. It's little angles that you need to make so it's noticeable. And the best example I can give you is, you've got to exaggerate things or your eye won't catch them. These Panzer IIs that I have by S model. Let's see if I can find one of them. They're in Panzer Gray. S model Panzer IIs. I think these are the ones I'm thinking of. No, that's in. The Panzer II turret has all kinds of. Okay, these are Coulon ones. Has all kinds of little edges on it. Okay, it has this little edge here that you need to accentuate that, or it'll look like it's supposed to be a straight edge, and it's not. So that's why when I finish, I give these things a dusting, so it'll catch, that light color will catch all the edges. And you'll be able to see them. You can see them 2 and 3 feet away from each other, from where you're at as the player. Some of these 3D printed miniatures look better than model kits. Well, most of them look better than model kits. Model kits aren't. that detail anymore. I don't mind building the model kits, but there's people that can build things as good as I can or better. I like getting on with the painting part. That's the part that I really enjoy. How are we doing on soda? We got an open one over here. I appreciate you guys coming by. You know, that's what I'm on here for, to interact with you folks. Is this a line? It sure is. And then we have this line here. And this is all the detail that we're adding to this vehicle that would cost $1 new. And I got this for free because a buddy of mine gave this to me. Sorry about the camera. I have to get on to my producer about that. The producer I don't have. Yeah, just this little bit of detail, and this isn't even the drippings part. This is all we're doing is accentuating these highlights, these shadows. You know, you're adding details here to the suspension, and on this side it doesn't have it. It's just like there's nothing to look at. Here it's like, oh, okay, there's like one cylinder inside of the other one. You know, there's all kinds of stuff to catch your eye. Same thing, like there's some kind of wiring here. And yes, I think that this is my favorite part to do, actually. It's the part where it really makes the vehicles come alive. Yeah, I took CAD in college, but I'm not a technology person, because one of the things that's really frustrating for me is, like, even though this might take, let's say it takes me 100 hours to paint this, it won't. But let's say if it took 100 hours, it's constant moving towards a goal, progression on what I did before. Not, okay, we've got this almost all the way through. Oh shit, my program got deleted. I got to start over. Like, there's none of that. Okay. You know, unless I wake up, one day and I had a stroke and I won't be able to continue. Um, you're constantly building towards a goal, you know? So none of this is frustrating. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. It's like, it's extremely calming. And that's why it works for me. I actually took CAD in college. I was still in high school, and I was doing this AAS program for drafting at the time. This is like 1989, 1990, 1990, I think is when it was. And I took AutoCAD. And the final project, literally, like the final night, the dog ate it. Literally, it crapped out, and I had to retake the class. So, like, after that, I'm like, yep, I don't like this computer shit, because you have nothing to show for it if something goes sideways. But even though I'm doing something different, still kind of the same scale. Not really. It's not 1/72nd, but it is. Like I would totally use 1/72nd scale figures with this. Yeah, I haven't had much interaction with Iron Horse Collectibles lately because, well, I haven't gotten any of this stuff because I got plenty of stuff to work on of his stuff. But his printing is awesome. Whatever resin he uses is also like great. It has a little bit of flexibility to it. It cleans up nice. It doesn't have a bad smell. Actually, it smells kind of nice. Not that I'm huffing it or anything, but it has a pleasant smell. Now, we're going to have to stop at 4 for sure. I need to go take care of something. I always say I never feel old, but there's some things I just don't want to deal with anymore. And one of them is like, I don't enjoy driving at night. I'm not saying I can't. I don't enjoy driving at night. And it gets dark so damn early now. Well, the thing is, I use everything acrylic. So basically, everything I have has no smell. So when you encounter something, like when I went back to building plastic models 2 years ago to work on the 20 millimeter tanks or the 1/72nd scale tanks, 1/72nd, 1/76, 20 millimeter, they're all interchangeable to me. I mix and match all of them. Using the weld cement was weird to have that smell. Like, what is this cement that has a smell to it? It's unusual. I wasn't used to that anymore. But after gluing metal things, anything that involves a weld cement is so pleasant. And I actually made some of that plastic some sprue goo. That's fun to do too. Melt down some sprue and then apply that with a toothpick to areas. All that kind of like attention to detail stuff, I find really relaxing. As long as I'm not being rushed, like, okay, you got to get this done today for a no, no, we don't do that. That's what they pay me for at work. Be rushed and interrupted and stuff like that. That's a no go. These guns are 3D printed as well. They're by see, these ones are by Switchyard Studios. And I have zero interest in getting involved in 3D printing. I'm going to spend my time painting, not 3D printing stuff. I paint slow enough that I can afford to pay somebody to 3D print stuff for me. I'm not saying I'm made of money. I'm just saying that you can spread yourself too thin. And there's already people that know what the hell they're doing 3D printing. So let's just make sure we keep them in business. So I do like to mention who I get my stuff from and who's the manufacturer and all that kind of stuff to make sure those guys stay in business because we need them because I don't have time to do that stuff on my own. Is the last thing I want to do, like, all right, I get this cool model of a KV1, say something like that. All right, cool. I'll start printing it. When I get home from work, I'll be able to mess with it. And then lo and behold, around lunchtime, unknown to me, something happened wrong with the printing. And I don't know that it's going to be messed up looking when I get home. And I don't need that kind of disappointment, you know? And like I said, I don't need 12 of them. I mean, I have a lot of tanks only because I got like 60 T-34s from an estate sale, and that kind of got the whole ball rolling. And when you have that many T-34s, like you don't have to worry about like, I wonder which two paint schemes I want to do. Fucking do them all. Do every paint scheme that you see that you like. You know, you don't have to put any thought into it. You know, it's not like when I set up these clown cars that I was very specific about which ones had which weapons, so we used all the weapons and we didn't double use it. You don't have to do that when you have like 60 tanks. Just freaking do them all. Everyone you can think of. You know that you like how it looks like. Because in reality, all the Soviet tanks in a tank brigade probably had the same kind of, you know, if they had writing on them, it all had the same writing. I got one of them that has one T-34 that has like the writing of like, you know, for Soviet Moldova or something like that. And the entire tank, every tank in the tank brigade, however many tanks that was, 80 or whatever they were, all of them would have had the same writing on them. You know, that's silly. That's silly to have something like that. We're not going to do that. All right. There's probably a little crevice there. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good now. There's a little line here. Okay. We're going to put the ring around the collar here at the base here of the stack. Okay. Now there's going to be a little line here. All right. That looks good. We got some under stuff here to do. We need to do all this running gear down here. We got this line here, and that line there, and that line there. And these little individual shadows, so all these details you can see from a distance. We have one there. All right. All of this looks good. All of this looks good. Flip to the front. All right. In the front, we're going to want a black line here. And we want one here. Even though we may put like rust over it. Okay. We want it to be a shadow. And there's a tiny little bit of a lip there. Okay. And also underneath here. Okay. This grill. What lines on this grill? So you can tell if there's some depth there. All right. And we want to make sure that that line has some definition there. On the front, we're also going to have that there. We already did those. Everything looks good on the front. Flip over to this side. We already did this down here. We got some underneath parts here that we didn't do on this one. This part here of the gun. This equivalent line here that we did on the other side. That looks good. Flip over to the back. I'm going to define this a little more. Okay, this guy's done with black lining. Instead of stopping and moving the black lining, let's finish this particular one. All right, let's get the other tones out here. And the other tones we're talking about is light tone, soft tone, and I believe it's called mid-brown. There it is. It's the reddish one. Why do I use these three? I don't know. These are the three that I use. And I kind of mix them and I use them independently, and, you know, I do this a bit free-spirited. All right, we're going to use the same thin one. This one's the most orange one, the light tone. And then mid-brown is the reddest. And then we're going to come in to places that we're going to see some corrosion and put that in. Not everywhere. Just areas that would have drippings and stuff. You know, and when I'm doing this by myself, I like to create kind of like a little background story of what's going on here. You know, I guess kind of like the Bob Ross thing. There's a happy little tree going right here. Well, it started raining up here and it got rusty. And when this thing got rusty, this started running down the side here. Because in this environment, regardless of what the background story is of this Gaslands or whatever, I have a feeling this is probably a world that does not have a lot of EPA. And there's probably acid rain, and it's probably really toxic. And things just rust out like crazy. And same thing with this sheet metal thing. So maybe there's some that came here and it just dripped down to here, which dripped down to here. Maybe there's something in here that rusted And it dripped down there. Same thing here. There's a little, where there is a joint, it's an opportunity for something to corrode. So there's some corrosion here on the top of this, and in a couple places it just decided to just drip down. Same thing here. Now it looks a little shiny right now because it's wet, and it is kind of glossy anyway. So when you hit it with a flat coat, all that'll straighten itself out. And same way, this gun, there was some lubrication they needed to do to it, and it picked up dirt, and it got all dirty and stuff. And the base where this gun meets this is all like rusty and shit. All right. We've got this shock absorber that probably has some kind of fluids in there. And they were careless and let it drip as well. Those drippings make all the difference in the world. When I started doing them, it's like the stuff that I was doing, it just went to a different level. So I do weathering, I do drippings, I do black lining, I don't do chipping. I just don't think it's needed. It's out of scale. I'm not a fan of it. And why do I mix this instead of just use one color? I don't know. It looks a little different in different places. It's kind of fun to do. Okay, there is a step in this smokestack. These louvers here. Are really rusty. And when it rains, not only does it pool there, but it drips off the bottom at these two edges. And then sometimes a little in the middle. Same thing here. We got this joint where it loves to rust here. And this pin here too. That little kind of stuff makes a huge difference. And it's easy to do. It's easy to do. And yeah, you could overdo it. You still need to leave it mostly yellow, But I can tell you from a personal experience, construction equipment goes to hell. In no time at all, it goes to hell. It picks up every little bit of dirt. The people that drive it don't give a shit, banging into everything. And then these guys, in particular, every one of these guys has a criminal record. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be on this team. They're criminals. So they're not going to give it proper PM. Okay? This streaking goes that way on this one. Okay? Again, we've got this joint or something like that. The rust comes out of. I love when you find a place where fuel, like if it has like a fuel door or something like that. I love putting the fuel stains on it. It's simple, and it adds a layer of realism. Now, on the inside of this thing here, we're going to have corrosion galore. All right. So all of this is going to be corroded, and also up in here, some of that dripping down as well. Thanks for the chat, Tony. I'll try and use the headlight painting tip. Yeah, I got it from somebody, you know. I'm not going to take credit for somebody else's work. I'll take credit for something that I figured out on my own, even though somebody already probably did it. Like the whole hand sanitizer thing. I'm sure somebody already came up with it. This hand sanitizer, this is great for cleaning your brushes. You can get all that stuff off and cleaning your hands and everything. It works great. I'm going to call that one my discovery because I figured it out without finding out somebody else figured it out too. So it's kind of like, you know, Columbus discovered America. Well, there are already people here. Yeah, but nobody knew about it. Thanks for coming by, John. John Bishop, the bishop. Yeah, the headlight. Man, headlights. I haven't gotten windshields done yet. I dreaded doing headlights until I tried doing it, and it turned out I was like, "Oh my god, I love this!" And like, I can't get enough of headlamps. I love doing headlamps. Well, you know, people. It's fun to do things that you feel turn out okay. it brings you happiness. Like, oh man, I kicked this out of the park. It doesn't matter if other people like it or not. It's if you like it. You got to keep yourself happy as a creator, because if you're not happy, you're not going to create more things. Funny how that works. So other people may like your work, but if you don't like your work, you're not going to do it. You know, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a morale problem. All right. Before I get too far along, we need to add some this gun. We got to add some details to it. Okay, so we're going to grab Iron Warriors, which is the darkest metal we have. And we're not quite going to dry brush it. We're going to add some highlighting so it catches your eye. Okay, and then we're going to go up one level, which will be, we'll go up two, which is Iron Breaker. Is this still too watery? All right. Just a little bit. Now, do I still have some black left? I think I still have some workable black. Yeah. Because the top of this is solid, and we don't want that. Paint the top of that like there's an opening in it. And I'm actually going to take this black, so it's thicker, and we're going to make sure there's a step here. Want to make sure that stands out nicely. And then anything that's like, I want to make sure that people see. Like any kind of breaks in the panel line. That pops out nicely. Now, this is what I was talking about, that we repaired some of the edges. And unless somebody points out where they're at, they're not that noticeable. I mean, yeah, you can see that they're up here or whatever, but this thing's been through hell. This vehicle has been through hell and abused. Now, we can also put, just because it's not an edge, there could be some corrosion that happens up here. Okay, so this is basically a monster truck with a Ram, with a heavy machine gun on it, and the bigger than you skill. So if it's bigger than you, it gets an extra damage point. So this is a heavyweight vehicle, and if it hits a middleweight or a lightweight, almost everything's a middleweight, it's going to get an extra bonus on the Ram for that. Of course, you're paying for that, so hopefully you're getting some value out of it. I think we're pretty much done with this. We'll just take some photos so you can see what it actually looks like, not whatever you guys see. And we're going to go out and do what we need to do, and then we'll come back this evening and hopefully work on the grader. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. If you like this kind of thing, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.